What up? What up? It's your man Jimmy Chan. All right. So let's talk about LabWork 14B answer key. All right. So first thing we're dealing with is the addition method, which is also known as the elimination method. Okay. So it says to choose which variable you want to eliminate. So I get to look at the x. I can either eliminate the x or I can eliminate the y. Question is which one. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. We should still come back to the same exact answer. Okay? But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this just so that you keep your eye on the original. Okay? So I'll bring it down here. So when I look at this, now I'm going to pick x only because one's positive, one is negative, so that I don't have to make one, force one to be positive and force one to be negative, right? So that's what step 2 is. Get the coefficient to be the additive inverse of each other. Additive inverse means if I have a positive 10, the additive inverse would be negative 10. If the number was negative 5, my additive inverse would be positive 5. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So I got to make the negative 2 and the 5 to be the same number, but one's positive, one's negative. So if that's the case, then what I want to do here is that I'm going to multiply the top by 5 and the bottom by a 2. And you're like, why those numbers? And the reason is because if you look right here, 5 times negative 2 is going to give me a negative 10, and 2 times 5 is going to give me a positive 10. And that will kind of eliminate the x value, okay? So when I distribute this 5 all the way through, I'm going to have a negative 10x minus 25y equal to negative 85. And when I distribute the 2 through, I'm going to have a 10x minus 6y is equal to negative 8. Okay? Then from there, the reason why it's called addition method is because now I'm going to add everything. So negative 10x, positive 10x eliminates each other. And I'm going to have negative 25y, negative 6y. So that's going to be what? A negative 31y. And that's going to equal to negative 93. So my y value is going to be equal to a 3. All right. Now notice that these two are linear because they're both x and y in the equation. So that makes it a diagonal line. And none of them are squared. So therefore I have 2 lines, all right? And they're gonna cross at one point. And the reason why I know they're gonna cross at one point is because I found a value for y, right? So since I found the value for y, that means I can find the value for x. So what I'm gonna do is take that y value and plug it back into one of the equations, doesn't matter which one. I'm gonna pick the second one just because. I can see it while I'm writing right here. So I'm going to plug in the 5x minus 3 times 3 is equal to negative 4. And then 5x minus 9 is equal, I don't like that, 9 is equal to negative 4. Add the 9 over, so I get 5x equals 5, so x is equal to 1. Okay, so based on this right here and this right here, I get a point, x comma y, because if I have 2 lines, they'll cross each other at one point. So they're going to cross at 1 comma 3, and that is going to be choice C. There we go. Boom. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2. The vertical line test. Okay, so the vertical line test says if I take the vertical line and I run it along this graph, if it crosses more than once, like right here, it crosses plenty of times, right? It's going to cross here, here, and here. If it crosses more than once, that means that graph is not a function. So, not a function. Okay? And that's going to be choice B. There we go. That's number 2. On to number 3. Transformations. Okay. So remember this right here. Everything that affects x is kind of backwards, right? So, and I got to go into order of operations, right? So I got to deal with inside the parentheses first, right? Then multiplication, then addition, subtraction, okay? So in this case, let's take some points here. Let's take, well, since those are already dotted, let's go ahead and dot this one. I think I can just use those 3 points, right? So I have over on the left, I have negative 4, 4. Second point is 0, 0. And my third point is 4, 4. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this as well. Let me bring this down. And let me take this and duplicate that and bring it down here. Okay, actually I'll bring it right to here. All right, so here's the way I look at it. So let's see what's the first thing I have to do. I'm going to start with blue. So first thing I got to do is this part right here, right? Because that's inside the parentheses. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So that's in parentheses. So that's what I'm going to have to do first. All right, so there we go. So what's going to happen? This tells me I'm going to shift left 1. If I'm shifting left, that means I'm affecting the x value to the left 1. So what happens to negative 4, 4? Well, if it's shifting left, it's now negative 5, 4, right? So since it's affecting the x, nothing should happen with my y value. The 0 shifted left 1 is going to be negative 1 now. The 4 shifted left 1 is now going to be 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot those points. Negative 5, 4, negative 1, 0, and 3, 4. Look, it did shift. Left 1. Okay, awesome. Okay, with that being said, now what do I do next? Do I do that negative 2? Or do I do that negative in front of the f of x? Well, order operation says what? Do I do addition, subtraction first, or do I do multiplication, division first? So that's the key right there, is to look at, okay, so I have to deal with this multiplication next. So let me do it this way. Let's duplicate, put it over here, change the style. Excellent. Now I can duplicate and bring it down. Okay, so what is that negative going to do? Is that affecting the x or the y? Well, it's in front of the f of x, right? In front of the f. So that means it's going to affect the y value. So in other words, as I write these down, nothing is going to happen with the x value. However, my y value is going to be negated or flipped signs. So now my 4 is going to become a negative 4. My 0 is going to become negative 0, or just 0. And my 4 is going to be negative 4. So let's go ahead and plot these points. Negative 5, negative 4. And negative 1, 0. And then 3, negative 4. All right, so here's my updated. Okay. Now I get to deal with, let me see, what do I want to do? Let's go purple. So now I get to deal with this negative 2. Okay? So first thing I got to do, however, I got to Move this over because I need a little more space. Let's take this, duplicate it, move it over here. Boom. But let's change it to purple. There we go. So what am I actually doing? I am dropping it down 2 because again it's outside that f of x area, so it's going to affect the y value and nothing with my x value. So again, when I draw these points, it's going to affect my y value, so nothing with my x value. I would like to write it down first so that I don't even have to think about it. It's affecting my y value. It's going to move it down 2. So if I start at -4, if I move it down 2, it's now going to be -6. If I move the 0 down 2, it's now going to be -2. If I move the -4 down 2, it's going to be -6. So let's plot those points. -5, -6, -1, -2. Ooh, that's hard to see. And then 3, -6. Okay. So that's going to be my most updated. Wow. Okay. Too many lines. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Close enough. So that is going to be my final graph. Okay, because I dealt with everything in there. And that is going to look like choice B. And there you go. All right. On to number 4, the difference quotient. All right. So in other words, I got to find f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay. So let's go ahead and now let's just stay with that. So f of x plus h. It means that to go into f of x and replace all the x's with x plus h. So instead of x squared, I want to replace it with x plus h squared plus 9 times x plus h minus 2. All right, with that being said, let's move this really quick over here. All right, so I gotta finish this up. So that's gonna equal to, I gotta do x plus h times x plus h plus 9 times x plus h minus 2. So that means this has to be FOILed, so I'm gonna get x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared plus distribute the 9x plus 9h minus 2. I do have like terms, so let's combine like terms, not many of them. So I got x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 9x plus 9h minus 2. Okay, so this is my f of x plus h. All right, and I have my f of x right here. So that's my f of x. So now I get to put it right into that difference quotient. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here. So I'm going to take the f of x plus h. Boom. Then I'm going to minus my f of x. And since this has more than one term, I need to put parentheses around it and then put this all over h. Okay. So, all right, so there's going to be some work here. So let's go ahead and do this. So I got x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. You know what? Let's do this. Hold on. because this doesn't change. So let's go ahead and just duplicate this and bring this down. And I want to show you guys what I tend to do here. I like to stack, okay? So from here, I have to distribute this negative through, right? Okay, so in other words, it flips all three signs. So now it's gonna be negative x squared. So I'm gonna go ahead and stack it. So negative x squared minus 9x, and then it's gonna be plus 2. Okay, all over h. Okay, so notice what I just did, right? I just took the first part, which is the f of x plus h. That's going to stay the same, but because of the subtraction sign is going to flip all the signs on that second group. So as I'm flipping the signs, I might as well put it underneath their like terms so it's easier to see. So with that being said, what do I have? I have 2xh plus h squared plus 9h left, and that's going to be all over h. So that's going to equal to, there is an h in every single part, right? So if I took on an h, what do I have left? I got 2x plus h plus 9 all over h. And look at what cancels out. The h cancels out. So guess what I have left? I just have the 2x plus h plus 9. And that's going to be choice A. And there we go. And there we go. All right, on to the next one. Number 5. All right, so I got to find fg of 2. So when there is no dot in the middle, it means that it's going to be multiplication, okay? And the nice part is that this also means that I'm taking f of 2 and multiplying by g of 2. There we go, okay? So let's find the 2. What is f of 2? So f of 2 is equal to 2 minus 6. So f of 2 is equal to negative 4. All right. Well, what is g of 2? Well, g of 2 is equal to negative 3 times 2 squared plus 11 times 2 minus 7. Order operation says I got to do the power first. So I got negative 3 times 4 plus 11 times 2 minus 7. So I'm going to have a negative 12 plus a 22 minus 7. So what's that going to equal to? 10. So that's going to be what, 3? All right. So g of 2 is 3. So if you look, like I said, I have this right here, right? So let's duplicate that, bring it down. So what that is telling me is that it's f of 2, which is what? Negative 4 times the 3. So that is going to equal to negative 12, okay? And that is, you know what? Let me do it this way better. So this tells me that fg of 2 is going to equal to negative 12, which is choice D. And there we go. Close enough. There we go. All right. On to the next. Number 6, find the domain and range. Same thing. The domain is all my x values and the range is all my y values, okay? And if you look at this, everything going from left to right, I have arrows going on here and here because that's going to just go towards 0, but it's going to flatten out but never cross the x-axis. And then these are going to be pointing upward. Okay? So if I was to flatten this out flat, okay, my domain is going to be something like this. Give me a second here, guys. Hold on just a second. I can't pause that. Sorry, I had to do that. All right, let's make this better here. Not what I want to do. Okay. Of course you don't want to stay in the middle. Why would you want to stay in the middle? There we go. That would be better. And then that way. So if I flatten it out, there's going to be that hole in the middle, but two arrows pointed both left and right. All right. So with that being said, my domain is going to be from negative infinity to 2 without touching 2, union with from 2 to positive infinity. There we go. The range, however, is going to be up and down. So if the sidewall comes in, what's going to happen is this. I'll put it right over here. Not what I wanted. Here we go. It's going to point something like this, right? So it's going to go up, up, and up, but there's going to be a hole on the bottom where it doesn't touch that 0 part. So my range is going to be from 0 all the way to positive infinity. All right? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be choice B. There we go. All right. On to number 7. Okay, so another way to write this, so this is adding. So this is going to say find f of 4, find g of 4, and then add them together. All right? So the 4 is my x value, okay? So why don't I do it this way? Maybe this will help. Made that one tight. Okay, so the reason why I want to make those 4 is because my x value is 4. So if you look at this, here is x is equal to 0, x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4, right? So at x equals 4, where does it hit? Right there, right? So what is my y value at that point, right? So that's what I gotta look at. Similarly, x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4. I guess I should probably make this a little shorter, huh? There we go. All right, so where does that hit? Well, that hits right here. So question is, what's my y value there? Okay, so that's why I gotta look at it, okay? So with when x is equal to 4, what happened here? Why didn't this turn into red? Oh, that's why. Because I didn't do it. All right, there we go. All right, so f of 4 is actually going to be 2. Plus g of 4 is going to be 4. Okay, and when I add them together, what do I get? So what I get is f plus g of 4 is going to equal to 6. And that is going to be choice A. There we go. Ta-da! All right, on to number 8. Ooh, it wants me to graph this one, huh? Ooh. All right, so based on x squared. All right, so let's go ahead and throw this graph down. Like that. Did not want that. I want this. I don't know why I put it there, but it's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so what is a regular x squared graph going to look like, right? So y equals x squared. I can actually draw a table here for that. Of course I would do that. Why wouldn't I do that? All right, so I have my x values and my y values, right? So let's say I go -2. Well, -2 squared is going to be +4. -1 squared is going to be 1. 0 squared is going to be 0. 1 squared is going to be 1. And 2 squared is going to be 4. Okay? So I know what that does, right? All right, so that's going to give me -2, 4, 1, 1, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. So it's going to look something like, actually, dang, that's pretty dope, yo. All right, so I have, this is my original parabola, okay? So again, I have these points right here, okay? So my original points is -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0. I should probably put this somewhere else. Hold on. Let me put it down here. 1, 1, and 2, 4. Okay? So what is actually happening here? So let me go ahead and let me do this. Bring this down. Duplicate, bring it down here. So what is it actually happening here is this. This is going to tell me that it's going to affect the x value, right? And anything affecting the x value is kind of backwards. So x minus 3 means it's going to move to the right 3 times. So since it's going to affect the x value, let me do this first. Okay, so since it's affecting the x value, that means my y does not change. So 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Okay? But it's going to move that negative 2 to the right 3 times. It's going to now become a positive 1. Moves the negative 1 to the right 3 times. It's going to be 2. Moves the 0 to the right 3 times. It's going to be 3. Move the 1 to the right 3 times. Now it's going to be 4. Move to the right 3 times. Now it's going to be 5. So my new points is now going to be 1, 4. Which makes sense because I moved this point 1, 2, 3 to the right. Okay? 2, 1. 3, 0. 4, 1, and 5, 4. And there we go. So I'm going to take this one right here, duplicate it, move it over here. However, I'm going to change it red. There we go. So that's my final graph. I shifted to the right 3 times, and that is going to be choice 8. Haha. Houston, we have a problem. How do I want to do this? First of all, this was a 5. So that means all of this had to shift to the right 5. So that means these points here are no good because it shift over to the right 5. So if it does, that'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if that's the case, that means I gotta take this graph right here and shift it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my new graph, except that, and I'm going to get that one. There we go. There we go. All right. So that should be my answer. So I shifted right. Five units. And that is going to be choice D, which we could have made this a lot shorter of an answer. So you guys didn't really need to show me all that work. If you knew that because it's X and it shifts to the right 5, you would have been done already. But since I wanted to go into deeper explanation, but I think more of these examples, to see more of these examples, I think will actually help you guys. So I think it's actually a very good idea that I did that. I know it makes the video longer, especially the fact that I just took a 1-minute break from you guys too. All right, to number 9, I want to write the equation of this graph from x squared. All right, so we just talked about x squared, right? X squared has those points. Let me bring those points down. I guess it's kind of good that I did that because then I can just put this right here for you guys and you guys would know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is y is equal to x squared, okay? So if I was to plot those points, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, let's go and plot those points right there, but now in red. So it was -2, 4, 1, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. Okay? And let me see if I can draw this. Whoa. You're like, that doesn't look like it at all, bud. That looks weird, huh? There we go. All right. That's pretty close. All right, so the question is what happens, right? So if you notice what happened from the red, so in other words, this right here was in red, right? So the question is what happened from the original to what we're given? Well, it looks like, if I had blow this up, I went from here, 1, 2, 3 to the left, right? So I did 3 units to the left. So therefore, this must be y is equal to x plus 3 squared. And that is going to be choice C. All right? Because, again, everything affecting the x is backwards, and that's why it had to be that. All right? All right, that's number 9, and there is no number 10 because LabWork 14A and 14B only contain 19 questions altogether. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later. See ya. Bye.